Intro music.
Come on in.
A star for the ages for Tony Gwynn, number 3,000.
And the ball game is over. The series is over. Welcome to San Diego.
My name is James,
My name is Joey.
and this is the Brothers Padre.
Oh my God. Where am I? What happened?
Oh. So, hey Joe, you're awake. You fell into a coma right after the trade deadline.
Oh my God. I just feel so
You're,
bummed.
you're fine. Your family's fine.
How are my kids?
They're good. They're good.
What-
I mean, they're both call me daddy now, but that's besides the point.
What?
Was there anything I
miss
can answer?
Yeah, I'm just so bummed I miss G-Man Choi's at bats. How did he turn out this season?
Well, that's what you're worried about? Okay, he got a hit.
He got a hit?
Yeah, he got a hit.
He got one hit?
That's what I said. He got a hit.
Oh, well, that's weird. I definitely had high hopes for him, but that's a little weird. But, I mean, at least how far did the Padres get in the playoffs? Did we win the World Series?
Again, weird that you're asking these questions. You have children. No, we missed the playoffs. We missed the playoffs by one game.
By one game?
Yeah.
Was it because G-Man Choi only had one hit?
No. it's because yeah, okay, let's go with that. We
Man.
82 and 80 was our record this year.
You know, when I was in the coma, I kept thinking about the Padres and kept thinking about it. And I thought for sure I dreamed of World Series glory at the helm of Bob Melvin. That's going to be next year, though. Finally, next year, Bob Melvin will bring us into the promised land.
I'm sure Bob Melvin will do great things next year. He quit and he's now San Francisco's manager.
There's a lot to take in.
Again, kids are doing fine.
I mean, this is just wild. I mean, I just was in a coma for multiple months, and the Padres didn't get that. The Padres were supposed to be good, James.
Oh, I know.
Well,
I know.
at least, James. I mean, that's very disappointing in 2023, but at least we'll get to watch this baseball generation, Ted Williams next year and Juan Soto play as a San Diego Padre. And I'll have that to cheer me up from my long slumber of sickness.
Yes, we So let me. Your wife is doing fine. She's doing great. Everyone's
What?
doing great. So like, you don't have to worry about anything else. Just know that you just need to rest.
If you tell me Juan Soto's traded, James, I want to go back in the coma.
Well, I could get. Let me get a bat.
Okay.
He's now a
let me
Yankee.
let me get this straight. Let me get this straight. G-Man Choi had one hit. Missed the playoff by one game. Bob Melvin to San Francisco. We traded Juan Soto. That's like a disastrous 2023. But thankfully we have one of the best owners in baseball that's willing to put everything on the line for us. Huh? That's going to be my hope for the rest of 2024.
Yeah. About that. You know how you woke up from your coma? He didn't.
This is part of the bit I don't like anymore. Let the record state. Very sad about the passing of Peter Seidler.
Yeah.
And I was not in a coma.
No. Due to circumstances beyond our control the last several months, we haven't been able to record, and so
Yeah.
here we are on December 11th, trying to figure out what to talk about during an off season that had as much action as a typical Padre off season is, but all on the negatives.
Oh yeah. This is a really bad off season. I'll say that much. You don't need to win the off season to win, be entertaining, but it is alarmingly bad. I mean, part of the bit I should have added was also the fact that, we're cutting payroll. That's why we traded Juan Soto. It's just a wild, I think the problem with our podcast is also the Padres problem, which is that there's so many downer moments, There's way too many downer moments. And how many times in the past few months, now we should record, and then another downer moment happen? Well, how are we going to do this? How are we going to unwind the downerness of it all? And not great. Not great, James. Not great.
Yeah, I mean, now it makes sense. People were wondering why we went all in the way we did for the trade deadline and not trade people that we should have. It's because they were hoping beyond hope that maybe we could make something out of this team, and Peter Seidler would be able to see us winning the playoffs again. But it's been. The thing is, we're still in the top 10 payrolls in baseball. Actually, we're still in the top 5 payrolls in baseball. We went from 3 to 5.
We still are, I think, so might as well just go into this next section of the podcast, which is how to be a fan of the San Diego Padres in 2024. How do you deal with all of this? And how do you because we're not a bad team. I don't think we're a bad team. I think we're a good team. I just thought that the last 2 years meant that we were going to be a great team this year.
Yeah.
And that does not seem to be the case. Because what's also not mentioned in the bit that could have gone, frankly, I could have asked 4 more silly other coma questions. Surely they've won more than 0 extra inning games at this point. And the answer is they've won 1.
Yeah, they did.
And, surely we didn't lose 3 starters who opted out of their contract. Oh, we did.
Yeah, and I mean, Ha-Seong Kim won a Gold Glove. These are the positives.
Tatis won a Gold Glove and the Platinum Glove.
First Platinum Glove in the Padres organization.
Yeah. The other positive, Blake Snell won a Cy Young.
Yeah.
A team on paper that was horrible in the clutch. I mean, literally, I think the story of the 2023 Padres is when the pressure got real in just late inning games, they just were not able to respond. Full stop.
That's exactly what happened. They just, after the 7th inning, they all decided they were done playing baseball. It was a very disappointing year. I mean, and to lose Bob Melvin hurt. He's the first manager to have 2 back-to-back winning seasons since 2005.
Sad. Not great. I don't like that.
No, yeah, exactly. But we got Mike Schiltz as our new manager, which was a big surprise. He was in the running when we hired Bob Melvin. I think he'll be a good manager. He's won Manager of the Year before. He likes cocky players, and he encourages, showmanship and showboatness, I guess. Maybe that would work better with our team. I'm hoping that since we got rid of...
Listen, if they can showboat more at the end of the game when they win, I'm all for it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't need you to showboat ground out to second. You know what I mean? Just.
I can't think of I can only think of Kim's walk-off win early in the season.
That was the only walk-off. I don't know if it's that or one more. That was like the only one.
Yeah.
But James, how are you going to fan in 2024? How are you going to fan? Because no offseason acquisition, and we'll talk more as the offseason goes along. We're going to be a better team when the offseason ends. I believe that. But I don't think we're going to be. We're not going to be a step above through our offseason. I think we're going to be better, but we're not going to be. We're not going to make huge steps in this offseason.
I agree. We're not going to sign another Bogarts or trade. Who knows? But how can I fan in 2024?
Or how should you fan? Or what is
how
your
should I fan?
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm
I'm struggling to think about how I'm going to fan in 2024.
Here's the problem, Joey.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I have been a fan of the Padres during some terrible, terrible years.
Oh yeah.
And I've watched them for a very, very long time.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time I can remember watching them where the promise was so high for several years in a row.
Oh yeah.
Like 1996, 7, and 8, we were building, and we recognized 96 we were good, 97 we were okay, but we were building to that 98 team. But we've had the promise of being a World Series team for the last 3 years, and to have not one thing go wrong, not two things go wrong, but 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus a dead owner. It's really. I am going to look forward to spring training, as I always do. I'm going to look forward to opening the first game of the year, like I always do. First game of the year, the Padres are going to be in Korea. It's going to be an exciting series. I think the Padres we still have a great offense. We're going to have a healthy Cronenworth. We're going to have a healthy Camposano, who really showed himself a great hitter last year. Mm-hmm. And Tatis might want to, now he feels comfortable in right field, I think he's going to have a monster year. Manny Machado is going to have a chip on his shoulder because they didn't do very well. Hopefully Xander Bogaerts will be healthy the entire season. Because Xander Bogaerts, Jake Cronenworth, Camposano, and Gary Sanchez either all sprained or broke their wrists last year, or this last season. And if they're all healthy, well, Sanchez is not on our team anymore, but if they're all healthy, we're going to have a better offense, for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think there's lots to be excited about from a team perspective. But I think what's interesting now is, like, our team cannot be... Peter Seidler, for a moment, like, really did, like... He put his money where his mouth is, and he really enjoyed the game of baseball. And he really put this focus on, I'm going to spend money to get a team and try to win, right? And that largely is still the case because we're still, like I said, a top 10, top 5 payroll. But now you just, instead of us being like, we got to get someone to fill this role, it's going to be like, no, we're going to use a first baseman from our minor league system. We're going to use an outfielder or two from our minor league system. And we're going to need a rotation person probably from the minor leagues. With the Juan Soto trade, we got 4 pitchers that are all decent and fill out our depth a lot. We have Michael King, who's actually a really good pitcher, and he's pitched in the major leagues. So there's a lot to look forward to. It's just so different It's just so different because it feels like the experiment of let's just put all these people together and they're just gonna be a good team isn't what the Padres baseball is about to win. Like, there has to be some some cohesion, and there has to be some people stepping up and something happening, because you think this goes back to Preller as a GM. Preller is someone who's like one of the greatest scouts in baseball. That's like very obvious, right?
Yeah.
But he's just really, really bad at assessing talent at a major league level. And he builds rosters that are just like pretty top heavy, and then he doesn't have a lot of like great depth. Like someone posted on Twitter, now X. That happened when I was in a coma. Remember that? Like all these like close spots where like random people, like Taylor Cowley was up. Remember Taylor Cowley?
Yeah.
Remember in that Pirates game when it was bases loaded and we had to bring up Taylor Cowley? I mean, like the depth is just really bad for the Padres. We just did not. And then we had like Matt Carpenter, who was a pumpkin, didn't do anything, and so it was just rough. I mean, you can make fun of Matt Batten all you want, but he actually did get hit, so maybe that's one exception. So, but it just seems like
I say, Matt Batten is a legitimate utility infielder for baseball.
I just think what's happening now is like, I think you just we can't roll out the same procedure of like, be super top heavy, and the depth can be super shallow. I think what's happening now is like we have to go into a position of like, let's have our depth guys be much better so that the margins are taken care of. Because if you really look at how offensively we just laid an egg last year, 2023 we laid an egg. But it's also like we just did not have cohesion in approach, and that needs to be different, and that has to be the expectation in 2024. And the difference is like how I'm a fan is like same thing. I'm very excited for spring training. I'm very excited for opening day. I'm excited to go to Petco. I'm doing all those things I like doing. But like my expectation for the team is like I gotta see you guys like. I need you guys to do like fun team things like rally and like win in extra innings and like really like have young guys come up and just like destroy the majors. That's what I need to see, because it's just not working the way AJ has constructed this roster. Having 4 big bats and 2 good pitchers is not enough.
No, as of right now, that is all we have.
Right.
But I was going to say, last year, our depth pieces were Nelson Cruz, Matt Carpenter, Austin Nola, and if Matt Carpenter hit like he was supposed to, and Nelson Cruz hit like he was supposed to, it'd be different conversations. And
I forgot Nelson Cruz on the team. I'll be completely honest.
And Austin Nola had a concussion in spring training, and already not a good hitter was a terrible hitter. Gary Sanchez, when we traded for him, was a bright spot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We definitely need more. We also need more energetic bench pieces. We need people on the bench that, even if we're behind, are still rallying and still feel like we're not out of it.
Yeah, I'm looking at the roster of the 2023 Padres. Can you name me the 3 people that played first base? 4 people that played first base? Sorry, 5 people played first base for the Padres in 2023?
Troy.
Mm-hmm.
Cronenworth.
Mm-hmm.
Carpenter.
Mm-hmm.
Cruz.
Cruz never played first base.
Batten.
No.
I'm pretty sure Batten played at one point.
I'll give you. Okay, we have 6. I'll give you that one. Just
who were the other ones?
Alfonso Rivas.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
And
Alfonso.
Garrett Cooper.
Oh, that's right, Garrett Cooper. I forgot. I totally forgot we even traded for Garrett Cooper. And
No,
he
there's
was
like
good.
he actually was decent. But just like these depth pieces are just not guys. We all said Adam Engel. Remember Adam Engel
Yeah.
and David Dahl? Who do you think played more games for the San Diego Padres last year? Adam Engel or Ben Gamel? Remember we had Ben Gamel?
I do remember Ben Gamble.
Who do you think played more games?
I'm gonna have to go with Ben.
Yeah, by one.
But how many do they each play? That's the real question.
Ben played 6 and David Dahl. Adam Engel played 5. David Dahl played 4 games. One of those games he tied the game. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And there was another depth piece that was supposed to be really good, but all of a sudden just couldn't hit. And who was the little Rudin Odor? Another guy that was supposed to be a good depth piece at the beginning of the year that did not do anything.
They DFA'd him. He had 59 played 59 games for the 2023 Padres. That's a lot. It's a lot of games.
That is a lot.
It's what I'm trying to say is like it really drops off. These guys are not guys. Like who do you think had the most games at DH?
Oh, Machado?
No. Matt Carpenter. And if you're wondering, kids at home, this designated hitter who've had, let me count, 76 games, batted 176 for the San Diego Padres. I don't know what James. You know what the word hitter means? It means to hit, to get hits.
Yeah, he's supposed to hit the ball. The thing is with Matt Carpenter, oh my goodness, he was coming off a really great year. And do you remember the first month and a half of up until we played that series in Mexico? I mean, yeah, it was only a month and a half of the season, but the Padres DHs that were Cruz and Carpenter were the best in baseball. They had the highest average, the most home runs, and the most RBIs between the two of them. And obviously, because it was a month and a half, it was like 6 home runs. But after we got home from Mexico, they just realized pitch Carpenter up and throw Cruz a slider away, and he will chase it.
Mm-hmm. Who do you think had played more games? Luis Campusano or Jose Azocar?
Probably Jose Azocar, because Campuzano got hurt twice.
He did. You understand the picture I'm painting for you, James?
Joey, I watched the whole season. Unlike you, I wasn't in a coma.
Right. Yeah, it's the 2024 Padres has to have some guys step up that are just normal guys. You know? I need some I need some like Jim Leyrit's 1998 level stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a 240 to 260 batting average, a dozen home runs,
Something.
and for whatever reason, when the pressure's on, he can hit a fastball.
Right. That's what I want. You know? That's all I want. I would love if Jacob Marcy is our third outfielder and he gets a couple walk-off hits. That'd be fun. Right?
Yes, it would.
That'd be fun. Just show me some energy. Show me something to root for. Like Hassan Kim is still the most rootable. I don't know. There's something I can't say the expression. Root forable Padre. Dude is super selfless. Plays all of it diamond. Super fun.
Plays
and
hard.
He hit the only walk off. You know, that's just you gotta like a guy like that. And listen. You know what I want to actually happen? Are we going to transition into 2024 talk?
Okay, let's do that.
You gotta just get Jung Hoo Lee. Jung Hoo Lee is a center fielder from the Korean Baseball League, Korean Baseball Organization. He is a 800 OPS hitter, beloved in Korean baseball, and best friends with Ha-Sung Kim. I mean, have you seen the the Soul Brothers is already the nickname that's going to happen if they sign Jung Hoo Lee.
Yes, I know.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Jay? And he'd be so easy to root for. He has a funky stance. Have you seen? He swings like
He
he's
looks
a super
lot like Ichiro Suzuki.
Yes, yeah. He's exaggerated load, so he just like. Whoa. We don't have a video podcast, but you would see me like scrunch up. Whoa.
It was cute.
He gets in this position and he explodes in the baseball. Also, incredible outfielder. Because what was not talked about, because we had literally our bit at the beginning of the show was abbreviated because there's more dumb things that happen. We also trade our Gold Glove center fielder, Trent Grisham. Right, which I'm not super mad about that, but he still is a good fielder.
I think the reason why we traded Trent Grisham to the Yankees as well is because during that trade we were like, here's Juan Soto, we want all these pitchers and cash back. And the Yankees were like, instead of cash, do you want to give us Trent Grisham? Sure.
But the Padres gotta they gotta figure something out. Defer it all. That's the thing you can do nowadays.
Yeah, exactly.
Just have someone else. Just Jung Hoo Lee, congratulations. You're gonna get paid $10 million every year in 10 years. It's just, whatever. You have to make up that you have a lack of defense in the outfield, and I just think that that's the kind of brand of baseball that I think the Padres need to transition to, which is more athletic, speedy, more contact driven, and not even contact driven. I don't know if I believe that necessarily, but just be able to create things like the KBO is known for that. It's run production via slap hits, good defense, and that's what we need. And I think it's just he fits the bill. I'm okay with even overpaying on it. I think it's just that's one of the things that I think he transitions well. I think that with Ha-Song here, that culture gap is super, super small. Kim has talked about how the first year was just really tough. But then Ha-Song's there. And you know what? If he gets signed, and I don't want to hype him up too much because the Giants may just be fully tilted by not getting a single good player for the past 4 years in free agency. So they might just give him a $200 million contract despite everybody. But I do think he's just he fits the bill, and I think he's just. I think that I don't know, man. I could see it, and I think it'd be fun, and it would be exciting to watch a player like that.
And if I had control of the baseball gods at this point and able to make all the decisions that I know would make that the Padres would do from now on, I would sign Lee. I would see if I could trade one of our prospects to either the Guardians or the Brewers to get, because apparently Shane Bieber and Barnes are both on the market, and get one of them over.
Burns. Yeah.
Then I would walk up to Blake Snell and say, hey, Blake, what if we paid you $5 million this year, and next year when we lose Hosmer's $25 million we're paying him, we give you that plus the other $5 million. That's $30 million for the next 4 years, and then we'll defer $500 million like the Dodgers did for the next 9 trillion years. So that's what I would do. I would. Hey, Blake, do you want to take could you live off of $5 million this year to get 30 next 3 or 4 years in a row?
I'm not opposed to it. I don't want to derail this. We've been very rabbit traily, but you and I have talked about this off mic. But whoever gets Blake Snell next,
gonna hate him.
They're gonna hate him. They're just gonna hate him dude is the best worst pitch, the best worst pitcher in baseball. Really is. He is. They're gonna see him walk the bases loaded with no outs in the first. There are 30 pitches and somehow have no earned run, and they're gonna be like, "What am I doing with my life? I'm stressed out in the first inning." That's the Blake Snell experience, dude. You know, that's how it is.
And also, what if, because he traditionally has a slow start, people forget his first couple starts this season were pretty rocky. And this season was the first season since he's been a Padre. He turned it around before July. He turned it around in May, and that's when he became. That's why he won the Cy Young, is because he turned around then. If he goes to a big market team and they sign him a bunch of money, and he's a bad pitcher until August, like he was 2 years ago, and they're gonna lose their minds. We're accustomed to his particular picadillos, and we'd definitely be more forgiving of him.
There's gonna be a person that's gonna be there, and they're just gonna be like, wait, he's. The first time you see Blake Snell like throw 90 pitches in the third inning, you're gonna be like, what is this guy all about? How does this guy win 2 Cy Youngs? And it's a valid question. It's so unentertaining. It's not entertaining.
No, it's not.
It's really not entertaining. And you're like, why don't you pitch? Why don't you throw the 3 pitches you pitched when it was 3-0 at the start of a count instead of waiting till it was 3-0? Like, why don't you flip it around? Why don't you throw 3 good pitches at the beginning and then don't have to throw any balls? The amount of balls he throws, like, I mean, we all know this. Maybe you don't. If you don't know, he's led the league in walks, but also led the league in ERA. So, you know, lowest ERA. That's the Blake Snell experience, man.
Yeah,
you know, he needs pressure. You know,
people just see the hardware of a Cy Young and think, "Oh, we're getting he's a great pitcher," but he is frustrating to watch. And if he has a slow start, if he goes to a big market team like a Philadelphia or a New York, they're gonna eat him alive.
Oh yeah,
they're gonna boo him, and he's also a vibe guy. If he goes to a stadium and the home team is booing him, he's not gonna do well.
I wonder what the market is for him. Like, I know every team wants a good pitcher. I'm not a fool, but it does make me wonder, like what team is like. Every team has the same statistics. They know the same thing about him. It's like you basically, when you sign Blake Snell, you're like, well, I need one reliever to really step it up this year.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta make up a 6th and 7th inning somehow, consistently, every 5 games. Right? And like, that's a real thing, you know, with Nick Martinez gone, and you know that was that role.
And the other thing is, like, we've also seen super efficient Blake Snell almost throw 3 no-hitters in a row. Remember that a couple years ago?
Oh yeah.
When he's efficient, he's the best pitcher in baseball. But he's just such an up and down guy. It's very, 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 very frustrating.
My tinfoil hat conspiracy is no one has signed Gary Sanchez yet, because whoever is going after Blake Snell is going to sign Gary Sanchez. I think people think that Gary Sanchez is the Snell whisperer, and they're going to be like, "Oh, this is the guy." That if you're going to get one, you got to get them both. That's my theory, because I think people know how much of a weirdo Snell is, and that's because you got to mitigate the weirdness as much as you can with him. You just got to, because he's just, I don't know. Padre fans know this, but it's still wild to me that he's a good pitcher. He's one of those guys you're like, you know, it's like, so we talk about Drew Pomeranz, you know, thankfully not anymore because he's not a part of the team, but like, no offense, Drew, you made way more money than me. You shouldn't be listening to my podcast. But yeah. But dude was like, didn't play like 5 games as a Padre, like in the past 3 years. It was really bad. Very, very bad. But like Drew Pomeranz and Blake Snell had like very similar issues with like wild throws, but somehow Snell figures it out. And it's the wildest watch of all pitchers, and I wish whichever fan base, whoever receives them, because dude, you're in for one.
You're in for a treat. Again, I hope we sign him because we're used to it. The other problem with Snell is he's the type of guy that when he starts to decline, I don't see him coming back. Because if one of those two devastating pitches all of a sudden isn't this sharp or as good anymore, because he has legitimately an unbelievable fastball, an unbelievable slider, a great curveball, and a really good changeup. But the curveball and the changeup are put away pitches. He needs to locate the fastball and the sliders. If those go away, and one of those go away, he's not the same pitcher. And if you sign him to a 10-year, $30 million contract, he's going to be terrible his last 5 years if that's the case. But again, who knows? He's such an odd guy. Him and this, I don't know if this comparison really works. He reminds me a lot of Zach Greinke. Not in personality.
Yeah, in some way. Yeah. I think I get you. Yeah.
Just how weird they are, how weird their stuff is, and how just like maybe he'll have a year, a career where he'll just last forever and just be able to figure out how to pitch differently. I don't know, but because he's such a vibe guy, and this last season he said, "I just decided not to let walks bother me." And so that's why he was okay with, it's a 3-0 count, and I try to get, and I couldn't locate my pitches, so there's no reason for me to throw in the strike, so I'll just put him on base, and then I'll get the next guy out.
Is that like the pitcher version of like when hitters say you don't care about strikeout? I'll get him next time. I'll get him on the next time.
Exactly.
Screw the viewership. I don't care what people think. I don't care about efficiency. Oh my goodness. It's wild. James, we podcasted. How about that?
We did podcast. It's been a while.
Yeah. Any other thoughts about the Padres, James, before we sign off?
My final thoughts about the Padres is we can talk for hours about this. Looking forward, we're still going to have we still have a lot of potent offensive pieces in our lineup. Mm-hmm. I just need something to encourage me they're going to hit after the 7th inning. And that's the biggest problem. My other thought about the Padres is we need a few more things to happen this offseason. We need, I would say we need another depth piece. And we need another starting.
You mean depth piece that's like a bench bat?
A bench piece. Re-sign Jerickson Profar and then sign. Because it looks like we're gonna have a rookie or that I can't remember his name. What's his name who won the Double-A?
Jacob Marcy.
Yeah, he won the Double-A MVP. He might be a major leaguer next year, and he's a left fielder.
According to one report, one Ethan Salas might also be a major leaguer next year.
True, but he'll also
that's wild talk. That's crazy talk that if Ethan Salas becomes a major leaguer.
Yes,
but who knows? The Padres were wild for bringing Tatis up, and look at us now. So.
This spring training is going to be as exciting as spring training as the 2019 was. When
that's
we
true.
Found out about Tatis and he came up, so we're looking forward to that but regardless, Padres still need to get at least one. If we have another decent starter, I'll feel better about it. If we trade for Shane Bieber, I would be happy with that.
Yeah. Because it stands today, our starters are Musgrove, Darvish, Mike
King.
King,
Waldron.
Pedro Avila. And, like, to be honest, let's be fair here, though. Ruben Niebla is a very good pitching coach. And all of those guys threw meaningful innings.
Yeah.
They weren't they weren't Cy Young innings, but they were meaningful and they didn't destroy us. It's not their fault that the offense can't hit after the 6th inning. You're like,
Oh no, we had a really good pitching staff. We had one of the top
Right.
5 pitching staffs in all of baseball. That's why this whole season just kind of feels like a weird year. I brought this up to somebody, a friend of mine who's a Giants fan, and I said, because he was asking why did we not do well. Our season is the exact reverse season that happened to the Giants a couple years ago when they won 111 games. Because all their stats were terrible, but yet they managed to get the big hits when they needed it. All of our stats were great, but we couldn't get the big hits when we needed it.
Yep. True. It's true. I am excited for spring training. That's a good point. Like how Graham Pauley responds, how Jacob Marcy looks, how Ethan Salas looks, how the young guys we got from the Yankees look. Like that's going to be pretty exciting because that's the future of the ball club. Like I think it is signaled to us as fans that the youth of the Padres are going to have a meaningful impact over the next 4 or 5 years. So
Yes.
let's get to know them. And you know what? Have them get to know us. You know the best way for me to like you is for you to perform well and play well and be entertaining. That's all. I mean, it's very simple. You know, when it's the bottom of the 9th and the guy on 3rd with no outs, get a hit. I don't know, sacrifice fly. That's all I ask. You know,
Bunt it. Do something.
Bunt it.
Because if I had to
Suicide
watch
tweet.
one more game where we had a runner on 3rd with nobody else and we didn't score that guy, I would have put myself in a coma
Yeah,
by
it's
head
true.
banging.
It's true. Well, James, the next time they'll hear from us is probably going to be. Okay, here's a question. This is the last question of the podcast. Do you think the Padres are going to do anything before the end of the month?
AJ Preller
This month being December 2023.
AJ Preller likes Christmas surprises. I think if we sign Lee, it'll be this month. I think if we sign, if we trade for a pitcher, it will be by the end of the month. Yes, I think we will have at least one unplanned podcast where we have to talk about a trade that isn't a
Well, I'm
sad,
excited.
depressing one.
Yeah, because I'm done doing unplanned, sad, depressing ones. I haven't done that many the past few months on account of the coma and all. But
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
And I've tried to end this podcast 4 times and I interrupt myself. So all I want in 2024, all I want from Santa Claus this year is just more happy podcasts in 2024 than sad ones. That's all I want.
Yes.
That's all. It's not hard. I'm a simple man. I just want a happier podcast. That's all. I
would
want
be
to see my
nice.
baseball team. I want to see a baseball team try. I want to see them win baseball games. I want to go to the old ball yard, drink some beer, eat some hot dogs, and just live the life, James. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I want at least. Is it so hard to ask for 5 more wins?
until next time, James. Go Padres.
Go Padres.
And there it is! Ho ho, doctor! You can hang a star on that, baby!